Welcome to another in the series, Sip and Chat, a place where we talk about the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. It's our pleasure this afternoon to be coming into your homes and to be talking about the goodness of the Lord. Welcome to another exciting series, Sip and Chat. We want to thank you this afternoon for giving us this privilege to be in your homes. I don't know what you're doing right now, but you need to get your hot cup of chocolate or your mint, whatever it is, but it's time to sip. Now, as usual on Sip and Chat, we always have some very exciting guests and we discuss some very interesting topics. And it's our aim that having listened to the program, you'll be empowered and energized and, feel this oomph to go forward. So welcome, this evening to another exciting program. With me this afternoon is a very, very special guest, She's somebody that I've known for quite a while. This guest is someone who has impacted the lives of many persons, but in particular, there's one person who is very renowned. And I'm so sure today she's going to tell us all about the role she played as mom, confidant in the role of this person. So this evening with me today is my very interesting guest. Her name is Miss Rosemarie McNaughton, and she is the mother of a very famous person. Well, if you're watching, you probably know, but for those of you who don't know, she is the mom of Rosemarie McNaughton, otherwise known popularly in Jamaica as Chronix. Welcome, Rosemarie. Welcome to the program. It's my pleasure to have you this afternoon. One of the aim of Sip and Chat is also to expose to Jamaica on a whole and to the world, because this program is global, persons who are very influential behind the scenes. So a lot of times what we know is that we know the stars. We know the Usain Bolts, we know the Shelley and Frasers, but we never got a chance to really talk to the wind beneath their wings. And so this evening we have an opportunity to talk to a mom. I know that dad has always been there as well. And we probably interview him one day as well. But this evening we're going to talk to the mom of Rosemarie McNaughton, otherwise known as Chronix. Welcome, Rosemarie. Talk to us a little bit about...
Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about who Rosemarie is.
Well, Rosemarie is a girl who born and grew up in Spanish Town.
Okay.
For all my life, probably 2-4 years outside of Spanish Town, but for all my life is in Spanish Town.
Mm-hmm.
And I was born at the Spanish Town Hospital as usual.
Okay.
Yes. And I grew up between De La Vega City and March Pen Road, and where you would call a part of the garrison the Banks.
Okay.
So I grew there as a young girl, never have much family in Spanish Town. It was just me and my mom. Then I realized that I have had a sibling like my sisters and brothers by father's side, because I didn't know much about my dad. So after I learned about that, and then after that, no, I was there, go to school. Not any one of those schools in Spanish Town would you expect, secondary level or high school. But I went to this private school at Martin Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there for since I was 9 to about 14 years old, and, skip out of school for a while and then start at a training center where I learned my trade. I would say designing now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So you're really a Spanish Town girl.
I'm a Spanish Town girl.
Okay.
I'm a Spanish Town girl. And from there I would do some classes otherwise, and Spanish Town girls, most of them, we love to party. We love to party.
So you're a party girl.
So I am a party girl.
What was the sound in your time? What was the sound that was rocking?
It was good, I tell you, probably most people would say, oh, she's a good, and but it was good.
Okay.
For
so
us,
you used to go to the prison oval?
No, not necessarily the prison oval. I was like a club girl.
Oh, okay.
My husband loved the dance session, but I love the clubs.
Okay.
So I would go to Big Daddy, Lovebird, Silver Shadow, and
yes, those are popular
there you
ones
go.
in
You
Spanish
have Papa San. You have Wickerman, there was a artist named by the name of Monksman, and they all were friends with my husband. So then we combined from then time then till now.
Okay. So tell us about, when did you meet your husband?
Well, I met that man when I was like, I met him when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
And from then we go, and then my mom wasn't agree with it any at all.
Okay.
So it was like a cat and war between me and her and him. And, we're back and forth and we're there and going until
I guess like every mom, they just wanted
yeah.
to make sure that the daughter made the right choice.
Yes.
And I know that now she has a happy
she happy.
son-in-law.
She happy because, he's there with us and he never leave me. He never treat me in a way different from any other man where, him leave go America and him come back and him still here with us and travel, him still take care of his children. He make sure they eat, they go to school, he pay their bills and all of that. So, he was a fine man to me.
So you've known this man from you were 16?
When I was 16.
And a little over 16. How long have you been married?
Long. Well, we married. I got married when I was 27.
Okay.
To him. So I think we're going around 25 years now.
As married people, but you were together from you were 16.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds very exciting.
I think it's about 22 years now we're
since
married.
you guys have been married. Okay. So tell us now, how many children have the marriage?
Well, he had 2 different from my 4 and I have 1 different from his 4.
Okay.
So we grow 8 children. Not actually together, but like 1 didn't live in the home any at all.
Okay.
But 1 live in the home with us.
Okay.
My outside is in the home and his 1 is in the home.
So it's a blended family.
So it's a blended family.
Very good.
We teach them how to live good with each other and so forth. It's never really easy, but we get them to make sure you love each other and share with each other because you're brothers and sisters.
It's very important that you talk about that, a blended family. That's very popular in Jamaica. And it's good to know that you have been very successful in uniting children who were outside of that union, but they have come together. Tell us a little bit and tell Jamaica about what you think are some of the core values in actually bringing up children, because today we know that there is the influence of social media. So many things are going on our children, Tell us what you think are some of the core values.
It's never easy. One thing I know never hard for them is to go to church.
Okay,
they
great.
do love church.
Were you going to church at the time?
No.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I wasn't going to church at that time, but I would ready them and anybody who was passing, I said, take them over to church for me now.
Okay.
And they will drop them off.
But that's a very interesting concept we want to talk about. We just want to touch on a little bit today. And that's where I find that we have a shift in our culture today, whereby I remember as well when I was a little girl over there in Spanish Town as well, that my mom didn't go to church either. But you make sure that on a Sunday morning, my sister and I, we had to go to Sunday school. And more importantly, you didn't just go to Sunday school like a start.
No.
Statistics, when you came back home, you had to recite your golden text. And I think that those are some of the things now that the departure from some of those things, I think has also helped to break down some of the values that we have in society. Because the truth is that we have become so much more preoccupied just to make $1 sometimes. And the children sometimes get caught up in those webs. But tell me some of the things that the foundation rules that you'd have laid out for your children.
I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
My husband, he put it down on the table. I'd rather for you to stay home with them than you're saying, oh, you're going out there to work and at the end of the day, you don't work enough money to cover up certain things. So stay with the children then. Make sure they're well fed, taken care of and look after properly. So I get the opportunity to stay home with my children.
Correct.
And sometimes they will say, mommy, we can't go. So I said, no. Why we can't? I said, no, I am not going and I'm not letting you go. Sometimes I send them to church. If I don't go with them, I would always ask some other adult to watch over them and make sure they will behave at church. And there were times when the older one would say, I'll go party keeping around us. I said, no, you're not going. Right. But I will still keep party in the home for them.
Oh, that's what you're saying. So what you did was that you kind of create for them the things that appeal to them outside.
And then when I get the chance now to take them out, then I will go. Because as I said before, is 5 of them.
Right.
I didn't own a vehicle that time. So if I call a taxi, me and the 5 can add the whole in the taxi.
Right.
And apart from that, from my 5, I always have 1 or 2 other children for some family member.
Okay.
Because I remember I grew my auntie daughter as well. She's my little cousin, but she called me Auntie Nana because I'm much older than her. Because I took her when she was like 5 years old. So she started out school with Javar, that's my son who died. And then she finished school with Stacy and Jamar in high school. So nobody didn't know that she wasn't my child.
Yes.
So there it goes again.
And that's another tradition of the Jamaican society too, where, there was always somebody that's in the household apart from yourselves. You always had some other sibling or somebody, and it was just like, so I think, sometimes persons say, these children are so into their games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What did we used to do? But the thing is that first of all, parents back in those days, they definitely had more children.
Yeah.
Now the average family is having 1 or 2, and then so they had that kind of interaction with other siblings and direct family members. Now, I know you mentioned that one of your son died, and I am familiar with that experience as well. So talk to us about what happened and how did that impact your family?
Jafar took sick when he was around 7, 8. But we didn't realize what taking place there with him. Because when I took him to the doctor will always say, he's just like a sinus and migraine. And then he will treat him, and like after a week or 2, it's come up back again on him. And I decided one day, my mother said she don't like it. She don't like it. And I must try and give him a thoroughly check out. That's what she would say, a thoroughly check out. And I said, okay then. And I keep a birthday party for him. And after we keep that party there, it's not for him, it's for Tyrese, the smaller one. And his father have some little beer drinking, and he sipped some of the beer. And I realized from after drinking the beer, he took sick. And I said, no, but it's just like tasting a little bit of beer that couldn't let him sick like this. And we take him to the doctor. Them say him have diarrhea, because him have a little diarrhea, and him have a little fever, him have a little everything where you think would come up. And that doctor no give me no choice. I said, no, I can't work with him, and I'm not gonna fill this prescription either. I'm just gonna try another doctor. Later in the day, he fell even worse. So I took him to Armadale and Young Street, and they said, I sent Kenisha, his older sister, with him and my mother. And when they come back, they said, the doctor said he had to go to university hospital because it doesn't look proper or him look, and he's not walking straight and all of that. So probably his eyesight is leaving him and all of those things. And when we took him to the university hospital, that's when the big show starts. That's when the big show starts, because they didn't look at him. That's
when the challenges started.
Right, because they didn't look at him. Same time, they have me there waiting, even though I come in with an emergency letter to them. They have me there waiting, saying just went into a coma.
Okay.
Right there, him just knocked right out and went into a coma. When they took him to the emergency room and run his test and brain scan and all of that, they find out that he had a brain tumor.
Okay. And it was just another episode
from there. And it was just another episode from there, one after the other. And I was hoping that it's just a little brain tumor can remove and that's it. And they run a test, the cancer test, and when they run the test, it come back say it is a stage 4 cancer.
Okay.
I didn't really understand, and I asked the doctor to explain it to me, what is a stage 4 cancer? And he said to me, a stage 4 cancer is when it gone real bad.
Okay.
Real bad. It's chances if we can bring him back together. And I say, well, whatever, because I do trust in God.
That's right.
And even though my heart was paining me, I still talking to the Lord. And I said, Father God, whatever it may be, I know that you are the creator. I know you bring us here. You take us when you want to take us out of this world. But right now, I'm asking you,
Please.
just save
That's
my
right.
son.
A mother's cry.
Yeah, keep him, just keep him. And of course, the Lord do keep him for one more year.
Okay.
Yes, he did. And he keep him for one more year. And I would get in like visions over and over and revelation. I know I would lose him because I keep on getting the visions and the revelation. And when I say it to some people, they say, oh man, it's just
Your
a mind thing.
right.
So the last one I got, I said I'm not gonna share it with anybody.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pray and let the Lord give me comfort and peace and just rest it right there. And it wasn't easy for me because sometimes I will try my best to come out, because if I don't go to church, that's when it take a toll on me.
So
When
church
I
was
come-
like your strength,
Church
your
was my
support.
strength and my support, because I would go and then the word, when you go and you listen to the word of God, and then it give you more strength to believe, you understand? And then you have people who you will talk to and, you know, sit down and reason with, and they will give you their part of story as well, and who they have sick and whatever and what come out of it. So you will feel a little bit better. But, you know, from then, after that he died, and when Javar died, it was so hard on me. So hard. Because we go down to zero. We don't have nothing leave. All our savings and our earnings, everything just went out there, because one of Javar treatment was 137,000 per month.
Okay.
And we have to find that 137,000. Thank God there were some people, and I didn't even know them, from England all over. It was just like funding some money and so forth. But it never helped. It just never helped. And that was it. But we come down to zero. And that's when I said, God, I am not going to give up on you.
Okay.
I am not going to give up on you. Because
So here you were at rock bottom and you're in the midst of this situation, but you still had faith.
still have faith.
Still had faith. Talk to somebody out there today who is probably at that place right now. I mean, everything seems dark and gloomy. Just encourage them to have
Yes,
faith.
sometimes when it seems dark and gloomy, that's where God wants you to be. Because if you don't come down to that level, you will never seek his face, and that's where he wants you to be. So you gain more strength to seek his face. So you have some mother out there just like me, you will wonder why. I tell you one of my things that I would do. I will bathe, comb my hair just up nicely, and put on something nice and walk on the street. And some people say, oh, you look so nice. Oh, everything all right with you? No. But after when I finish pray and talk to God, you know, I just put myself together. It's not easy, but you have to put yourself together. You have to figure this out in life, what you want for yourself, what you want to do. Because when the pressure come and you drop, and you know, you just drop on one side of you and say,
and then the kids are there as
yeah,
well.
you can't even cry and let them see you. Sometimes you will. Sometimes they know. They come over and they will rub your shoulder and they will, you know, sit beside you. And I have 2 children in my home who really know when something is going wrong. And they will come with like a drama.
To cheer you up.
Yes, Jamar know it best. He know it better than everybody. He know when to come on with his show. And he come with this little thing and him tell you about anybody who him sit on the street with this little, you know, behavior. Him say, I saw the lady say it, you know, and you know them come with them look a drama show, Jamar and Jason. So there it goes again. You have them, you have to take care of them, you have to love them, you have to treat them good. Don't let depression and the things that you don't have in this world pull you down.
Right.
Because as long as there's a God, there's a way.
Excellent. Now, talk to us. I know we're talking a lot about, there's so much you have to share, because you can share to us about surviving after, you know, that depressive state and stuff like that, how you manage the family. But tell us a little bit about, when you think about your family now, where did this music thing started? First of all, can you sing?
Sometimes I think I can. But there's another time I said, no, this is not for you. So their father is a singer.
And what's his singing name again?
His name is Chronically. He grew up, same place in Spanish Town. He didn't born in Spanish Town, but he grew up in Spanish Town. He also lives in De La Vega City, from Cumberland Road to De La Vega City, just to say. And he he loved the music. I don't think he loved it as his children, but I know he loves the music. And when I really find out about them singing, it started from my older son, Andre.
Oh, right.
Because Andre would, he loved church and he loved the choir thing and he loved the group thing. So they always try to do their own little stuff at home. Even before Jamar could talk very clear, he always say my DJ something.
And when you said Jamar, we're talking about Chronics, okay?
And he will DJ a little something and I said, baby, what is that you're saying? I DJ him one little thing. When he started in primary school, he had some papers in his drawer, like a lot of book leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through them one day, I got through his, repack his drawer and so forth. So I went through and I saw the papers there, man. So what is this? I mean, I try to figure it out, but kind of bits and pieces all over the place. So I got to him and I said, Jamar, what is this? And he said, my lyrics.
Okay, and that was from primary school.
That was from primary school. I'm writing my lyrics. I was all right. And then they would go around and they would sing a little song. And sometimes song is playing on the radio and them sing and you can hear the difference in their voice. They can sing.
Okay.
So Andre,
because they didn't sound like you.
Because they didn't sound like me. Some sound like daddy, some of them own son, but I know they can sing.
Right.
So Andre grouped them up one time and said, all right, we're going to have a little group now. And him give the group name, of course. And you will.
So the name of the group was the McNaughtons?
No,
what was the name?
It was Singing Angels.
Okay.
They were Singing Angels.
Okay.
And he took them to Garden Pen to a church to sing and he carried them all over so till one day here Auntie Denise, I think Stacey come home and said Auntie Denise said they are going on the choir. So we're on the choir. They say yes, that is the choir director in their time at church. And I said, well, go ahead, because me like when them,
the church involved.
Right, involved in something, doing something at church. So I said, go ahead. And they went there and they had their own little thing. And they would come home and say, something I keep at church. And they asked us to sing.
Right.
And I said, okay, go on.
So you were always a mom who, when your children wanted to do something and you saw the talent, you propelled them along.
Yes. Even when they are doing their CXC and they will say, Mommy, what do you think? What do you think about us doing business, or what do you thinking about doing accounting or religious education, whatever? So wherever you think you can manage,
right.
Go there.
Right.
I'm not going to be the parent who pressure you to say, yes, you have to be an accountant. Your mother wasn't an accountant. That not say you can become an accountant. But in the home, you still need somebody to help you there.
Right.
So I'm thinking about what I can help them with.
Okay,
I get somebody to help them with.
Okay.
So whatever their brain can take there, I will just allow them to do it.
Right. So you're not the mother who's saying, doctor,
no,
lawyer.
You don't have to be a doctor or a liar.
Right.
Be something. Do something and, be something of yourself.
Right. Make the best of your resources.
Don't go to school and follow anybody say, oh, my friend is a doctor, I want to become a doctor. No, not for me.
Right. And I think that's important too as well for parents to have that dialogue with their children and also know the potential of their children to say, okay, then what is it that you want to do? Because sometimes it work both ways. Because sometimes children, I believe have hidden talents.
Yes.
So it is important in the parenting process to unearth whatever that hidden talent is. And we know we have some of them who don't want to push. So sometimes you have to give them that extra to really propel them along.
Right.
So tell me now, how did you? I before you go any further, I want to just share with the audience an experience I had as you talk about singing. I remember being at the same church as well, and I took the McNaughtons at the time. It was about 4 of them.
Yes.
I took them to a concert. It wasn't a concert. It was a talent show. Right. I took them, Jamar, which is Chronics, and his other brother and 2 sisters. So when we went to this talent show now, we were not the winners, right? It was an episode. It was my first experience, I would say, as a young adult in terms of how children really took this issue of winning seriously. So when the competition was finished and they were not the winner, they come and they say, Auntie, we're not going back to church ever. We're not going back to church. But that was just the emotion at the time. I had to cajole them and say, no man, listen, that was what life is about. And I think from then I learned what it meant when children were not successful, and how as parents, we have to learn to help them to understand that if at first you don't succeed, you must try again. Because look at them now. Talk to us about how did Chronixx evolve into this, from what you're aware of.
Well, he was at church, as I said before. Right. He sang on the church choir, and he was a part of the director of the church choir at one point in time.
Right.
And I think the death of his brother take a toll at him also. So the death of his brother, poverty stepped in and everything. So he loves singing. So wherever I get the chance to do his thing, even though he said that he wouldn't sing, he would more like to be a producer. That's where he started to be a producer. But we know he can sing. So doing his first song, his companion who and him was doing this song, the producing together, his friend said, why not you sing the song instead of let somebody else sing it? And him said, okay, I will give it a try, and that's it.
So here we have a man who has come into his fullness, and it just came out of just an opportunity. And it was his friend who said, listen man, this looks like what is going to be your major role, so let us do this. We have so much more that I want to share with Rosemarie McNaughton. As we said, she's a mom of Chronixx, but we're going to have to just wrap it up right now. Maybe we'll join another time to share in this exciting discussion about parents who have really stood behind their children and stood behind the dreams of those little child. Sometimes they're very young and they might say something to us and we're not very clear.
Yes.
I mean, what is it that this is going? But just tell us how you feel about seeing him now and that emotion as wrap up.
Excited.
You're very excited.
Happy. It's not something what a Christian mother would want for their child, but at the end of the day, it's not anything bad. He's preaching the word same way, sharing the message out there same way. So it's not anything bad for me, but I would rather it's in the church. You understand me? But it's good, and I feel so good about it. I don't have to worry about it. Once I used to say, I don't want to go away, leave them, because I don't want to send barrel, and I don't want to pay any lawyer fee, and I don't want to send any money to do any abortion, and I don't want this and I don't want that. But God work it out for me the best way He can. So
now you're recognizing that all that sacrifice that you made, and your husband told to be a stay-at-home mom, you're able to see that coming into fruition. Now, we just want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. As I said, it's a very exciting program. We could cover everything in half an hour, but definitely we will have back Miss Rosemarie McNaughton, and she'll continue to talk to us about, just being a mom and having to survive the death of our child, and then, being the wind beneath the wings of one of our superstars in Jamaica, Rosemarie McNaughton, otherwise known as Chronixx, right? So thank you so very much. And until next time, let's continue sipping. Have a good evening, everybody.